teacups, what's brewing? How is everybody doing? I hope you're having a lovely day, week, night, whatever it is for you. It's very, very late for me. It's 11:15 and I do have work tomorrow morning. So this is going to be great. I'm going to try and film this now. If I don't get a chance to edit it, I will edit it tomorrow morning and hopefully it won't be too late. Today we are looking at, it was just sayings, Jamaican patty bees and something of Nada's. It was some life of Nada's, although as I'm looking to check the title of that, I see that she has just uploaded a cut down of meat pies and lies and all of that. So maybe I'll look at that after. Things have been busy over here at the Teapot. I came back from Dubai. I really like Dubai. I have actually polished up my CV. I'm thinking of getting a job there next year. So I've been looking through the possibilities. It's not, some of the listings aren't quite up yet because when they list them depends on a variety of things, but they tend to list early because of the arduous process of visas. So it's been quite a busy week doing that. And frankly, I'm finding her very, very difficult to watch. Nada is becoming an ever-increasing presence on her channel, and that is something we'll talk about in this cut down. But it's making things harder for me because I genuinely don't want to watch him. I realise this is a mixture of one of his lives as well, because as much as their relationship is really, I guess, the only real thing she ever talks about, and so it's the only thing we really get to comment on, really. It's him, the cats, and then various health concerns. One of the reasons I'm recording this so late is because I was waiting, because she went live with a live called I Have a New Boil. Literally the only content in it is in the title. She's got a new boil on like the back of her upper leg, that no doubt she won't get checked by a doctor. She may end up going to have it lanced. You'll remember she had to do that a while back and it was gross. And she takes a lot of risks with her health. Essentially, she takes a lot of stupid risks with her health. I thought she had like a doctor's appointment, what, Tuesday, was it? Maybe in a couple of days because of all her myriad of other problems and the problems she was having with bleeding from certain areas and other very, very concerning things. And maybe this can just be another thing she adds to a list for the doctor's appointment I'm sure she'll never end up going to. But wouldn't it be nice if she spoke to a professional? Anyway, back to her and Nada. It's been an issue for me because I'm finding it really difficult content and it's becoming more and more common, probably because she said it wouldn't, and so naturally she does the opposite. I do actually have some thoughts about that, so I suppose we should get into the react and I'll get into it then. I find Nada quite difficult to understand. And I say this as somebody who lives and works in the Middle East and is very used to people whose English is not their first language. So I find him difficult to understand, whether it's a me thing, whether it's a him thing, where it's a combination of how he mumbles, how they record, I'm not sure. I did my best with it. I don't understand every word he says. Sometimes from the reaction you kind of get the gist, but if you're having trouble understanding him as well, apologies, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So this is probably gonna go on a little bit, so let's get started. As I get this set up, also I don't have coffee today because it's 11:15 and I was like, well, I'm already making bad choices, let's not compound it with coffee, but there's a chance that's going to make me a little less tolerant than I otherwise would have been. My patience is running pretty thin with her in general, but this probably isn't going to help.
You wanna go drive and look at all the Christmas lights?
It's a stunt, man.
Since when?
Since when, chick? The light is gonna be so.
Oh,
Very windy.
oh yeah, the neighbor guy was saying that, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I can chew when my mouth closed.
Since when? I'm sorry, since when? And that's a very big departure of attitude, and that's the reason I left it in from before, when she was like, I do what I want. I do what I want. And if you go back even further, she's had times when she's been eating awfully on camera and people have been like, hey, could you close your mouth? And she's been like, oh, keep my mouth open, you say, and been quite bratty about it. But the more we see a few of the things she's been saying online, like the more you think, she seems concerned about her YouTube check this month. I did hear a rumor, I think maybe I watched a little bit of Smokey Steves and Mark's Sunday roundup. Sunday roundup, Saturday roundup. Time differences are sometimes a bit weird. I haven't finished watching it yet, but I think he mentioned that she had got some kind of payday loan. I'm not sure where that rumour came from, if that rumour is true. Apparently she mentioned it, which given how much money she earns seems nuts. Like, they're terrible ideas at the best of times, but it seems really unnecessary that someone earning the amount of money she earns, even if we don't know the exact number, we know ballpark, would need something like that. And even though she always turns around and ends up doing the exact opposite of what she's going to say, she seems to at least be trying to fake listening to the VIBs sometimes. Like, she goes, oh, I miss you, oh, I love you guys. She did an open chat the other day because she missed some of us, you know? And it just seems like she seems a little anxious as to her income, which you think would perhaps promote a bigger change of behavior, because she is reliant on her VIBs, her audience and everyone else for her income, and nobody's having it with her at the moment. So I don't know, I think there's bigger financial stories afoot behind the scenes, and we'll see how high she gets and how much she tells us at some point, but it seems to be becoming more pressing of a matter.
I really get a feel for how they're going to make them later.
I'm not a huge fan of her really wheezy laugh, but she does this a lot throughout this video, be warned. A lot of laughing at things that don't really seem appropriate to laugh at. I guess sometimes just to kind of try and save face and protect herself. Sometimes she just seems kind of hyper aware and she's just trying to keep everything going and smooth. Maybe a little bit of hypervigilance, that kind of thing. But she wants him to make these, and it's hilarious, apparently. And he does end up making them, and I'm like, she ate a lot of them in the car, it seems, and then she also ate a ton of them at his, so that's a lot of meat patties for one day.
Hi! Why am I vapor?
Because you're faking it. No, not a side effect, because, oh, sorry, that was a freeze frame. Not a side effect because you're faking it. Because you're going over the top to try and compensate for the fact that so far he's been not at all willing to go along with you when you were like, oh, Christmas lights. And they did have very bad weather. My friend in Canada was telling me there was severe wind. So it's not what they're saying is wrong, but he's completely disinterested in any of the pretense that she kind of wants to build while they're on chat together. So I really wish she just wouldn't go on chat with him. But there's more to that I think we'll talk about in a bit.
I'm just gonna go park real quick, guys. Okay? Okay, my little sweet angels.
She's trying really hard. Look at her face. And she tries to fake it. She's like, no, it's wonderful. I started skipping through the original of this live. He sings for a while. And the thing I wanted to talk about with kind of him and his ever-increasing presence on the channel, some of it is her. So when I say this, please don't think I'm absolving her of responsibility. Some of it is her choices, her desperate need to prove, look, well, no, we're such a wonderful couple, trumps any other sensible thing on her channel. And that's just the desperation, I think. But I also could believe potentially that it's sort of a power play for him. Because think for the moment, yes, she's home. I think actually she went live just as I was starting to record this, something about cleaning her tub. So I haven't watched that yet. But she's getting less and less unsupervised time online. And we'll talk about it with all the muting that goes on during his live as well. But when she goes into the car, which usually her escape was going to get whatever she was going to eat or drink, was going on the long road, was going on all these places. And more, he's in the car with her because she has a chance to escape and to go home and change her mind about going back when he's not there with her. She tends to say things when she's in the car that he doesn't want her to say. And I'm noticing more and more that he's making himself a presence. And I think it's just kind of a power play. And so was this. He knew she was live streaming and he just wanted to sing because he could. Because what's she gonna do? Tell him to stop? Nah. So look, who's in control of this live stream really? Him. And so the singing continued.
What was that called?
No? He's the asshole. He's an asshole.
Who?
No,
Oh, is that a bad word?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not nice.
No.
You friggin' bum! What does that mean? Oh, that bad.
I couldn't quite hear what he said it meant, but I think someone was in the chat, I think, insulting him, potentially in Arabic, from the context, that's what I'm guessing. And so she's like, oh, and she's trying to kind of laugh it off, but you get the feeling that maybe there's going to be hell to pay later about it, because it's her chat, and she's obviously the one causing this problem, because she's the one who mouths off online. It's all her. It's nothing to do with his actions. I mean, it's a fair part of her. Yeah, there's equal responsibility there, but neither of them really wants to take that responsibility and what their actions might provoke.
And no, I can make you.
Oh, Sarah Jane! Why did you quit, Sarah Jane?
Oh, Christ.
I'll give you my credit card number. You gotta be here.
And that little shade of desperation in there. Why did you quit? And she's getting higher, and higher as in pitched, not fueled with drugs, but she's getting higher pitched, and she's just working harder to sound hyper. Because no, look how happy I am. Why did you leave? And it just goes up and up and up. And I'm just like, take it down a notch. Take it down a notch. I don't love her Biza's voice at the best of times, but it does feel particularly brittle and act today.
Who can't afford to be here? I'm gonna start giving my credit card number up.
I mean, you've done it before.
Okay, I'm gonna go now. No, wait, we gotta go to the dollar store.
No, go back first. You don't like me. You listen to those stuff.
Don't you hate whenever you go somewhere and you're like, do you have a public washroom? And they're like, oh, sorry, we don't, but the subway at the other end of the block does.
Yeah, that's just
I'm about to shit my pants.
would you shit somewhere else?
I mean, if I was that employee, I'd want you to shit somewhere else. Please don't do that in our bathroom. There's a reason these are not public. Please go elsewhere. But I kept that in, not because I love discussing these things with you, but again, his response is like, oh, I don't like it when you do this. I don't like it when you do this, you know, and I wouldn't like it either, but he's not giving her any quarter for this to be a joke. He's just saying it straight, and then she's having to laugh really hard to try and make it like it's so funny.
Can I have? You know they have an employee washroom? Just put that in the ground for now, I guess.
Why the food in the ground? Why? Give me one valid reason.
And this.
Because there's no room.
Why the food on the ground? Why? Give me one valid reason. He hates it, and this is something she just does. It's becoming more and more pronounced, and he cares less and less what people think about it, and he thinks that makes him a big man, but actually it just makes this whole thing a little bit worse.
Like this video.
Not a chance.
Because I know you do.
Absolutely not. I refuse.
And I'll be back in a little while. When am I going to come back?
When you want to come back?
Yeah, in a few hours.
Yeah, when she wants to come back, definitely not when he gives her permission. The permission she just asked him for. When did she start doing that? When he started supervising our lives, I guess.
Bye, guys.
Hello, fellows.
This is now his.
You want me to read that?
Let me see.
I'll mute it.
They mute a lot during this live.
Isn't it?
So they can kind of discuss, what about this comment, what about this comment? He's got her going through the comments, something that they had an argument about before, remember? When, I think it might have actually been my last react with them. It's been a little bit now. I know it feels like generations since. But when she was like, oh, that's stupid to that comment, and they had the fights on screen, and they muted for a second, and he, I'm sure off screen, was just like, sit your ass down, and she's like, I'm going for a slushie and all of that. So now she's trying to be a little bit more careful but the whole interaction with them is quite the thing. So let's have a look.
Straight
Okay.
question.
Did Chantal buy her own engagement ring? If so...
We're not engaged, guys. To buy a ring, not yet.
That's not the question.
No, the ring, the black ring.
So what's wrong with that?
I don't remember, honestly, guys, if I said this was an engagement ring.
The hell you don't. Oh, you told us our whole story. We got all of it. Oh, the Disney ring, and I liked it, and I didn't realise it was the Jafar ring, you guys, so no judgment. And oh no, he's going to pay me back, and we're going to live in a cabin in somewhat remote woods, and it's going to be totally fine. And you know, Toronto was great, and we were in love, and we were going to get engaged, but oh, I've left the ring at his house now, because we're now on the rocks, because they were for about 30 seconds, allegedly. Like, the hell you don't remember. This is very much, ooh, let's tread carefully, because I can't remember what lie I told them and what lie I told him.
Or as I said it as a joke.
No, you did not. The hell you did. Oh.
Make beer at?
Me, if something change, anything will change, I will let you know. Private, like other people ask for deep private stuff, I'm not going to answer. I have the choice to answer.
True. You always have the choice not to answer, but then don't read the chat. Don't read the chat. Don't have the conversation. If you're going to ignore it, ignore it. You both bring it up. And I think part of the reason is, okay, we talk about how Chantal lies. She's a lying liar who lies. She does. Absolutely, she does. The fact that she's a lying liar who lies makes me think that this story is true. Even, okay, I'll get into that in a second, but because she's insisting. Remember how angry she got when she was like, he's telling lies and people are going to believe him, and she was like near tears. And you can argue that a lot of their dueling live stream lives are an act to drum up views. You can argue that. But I think this one fact, even if it's a fact that she has built in her head, let's say is true to her. Now, I fully accept that Foodie filters conversations in whatever way she wants to hear them, which can make it really difficult to discern when she's lying to us and when she's also lying to herself. So this may have been a situation when she was lying to herself, but she's so annoyed about it. And even with everything, this isn't a thread of conversation she lets go. She, in the name of the Beezers, to kind of protect her, she brings it up again and she brings it up again. And she got so frustrated when he was denying it before or wasn't answering it or was doing whatever he was doing. And she has a thing that I actually have as well, where she gets frustrated and it makes her a little bit teary. And I hate when I do that. But it's because it's real. And I'm sorry, and people just think, oh, you're emotional, I've upset you. No, I am angry and you are an idiot. And I hate that I get teary when I do that. But I don't get frustrated like that unless I truly believe what's happening. And she gets the same way. Now, you can completely argue that whatever conversation you had, she may have turned into potential engagement rather than it been. He could have straight lied to her. They're both incredibly manipulative people. Incredibly manipulative people, and they both lie. So they could easily be lying to each other, be lying to us, some combination thereof in different aspects. But I think to her, the ring story, the idea that they were going to be engaged, I think that is real in her head. It's as close to the truth as she gets, whether she's lying to herself or not. So I'm moving forward with this video with that as my current truth.
Very private.
But
Unlike me.
no update from me. So the same. Guys, I'm very honest. Believe me.
They're saying
No,
I
lie.
lied though.
That right there is you not being honest. And he's making a point because he's daring her to argue with him.
But this is what happened.
I'm not saying what happened, what not happened. Guys, I'm honest to you. The ring was not
Look at her face.
Yeah,
So
it was.
Ooh. And that was actually a surprise to me. Look at his face. Look at it. Does he look pleased that she's disagreeing? Because you can tell she's a little bit tentative, but it's not something she's letting go. Absolutely not. And I think if it hadn't been real, she'd be trying to just stay with that it was a joke thread, even though that's a complete lie. I think she'd be handling this differently. But one of the things that made her super angry is that he doesn't defend her on stream, and that he doesn't tell the truth when it makes him look bad. And whenever they break up, that's the first thing she goes to. She was like, oh, it's clear to me now he just doesn't care about anyone but himself. And this is an example of it. And she won't let this go. She's being very careful how she speaks, but she won't let it go.
You fuck around with him?
No. This was before all bullshit happened between us. We were on a good track. We were talking about that. And the ring. And
But when you received the ring,
you were gonna... Yeah.
was your fucked up time.
Did he just said it's when you fucked up that time? I couldn't quite hear, but that's what it sounded like to me. Clearly it's her fault.
Who's calling? Guys, you think I take a phone call?
So I may as well just say that's why we're being so private about stuff, and you are too private because of how
No, for me to
open
limit.
I was.
For me to
Yeah.
limit. Some limits for me is
Yeah.
private.
Again, I don't think there's a problem with having private limits. I think there's a problem with how these two claim they're doing it.
That happens.
To get engaged or getting
now.
married, whatever, it's nothing private.
Yeah.
Nothing to go and hide it for that. But
No, I haven't been private. I'm trying to be a little private now.
Because he's sitting here.
no, she's never private.
I told you it was engagement ring. He was going to give the money for it.
Yes,
that's
you did.
true. That happened.
What that?
The engagement ring. It was a ring. You were going to pay me. You were going to get when I ordered it, picked it out. I liked it. You were going to pay me for it.
There are gaps between these. She keeps bringing it back up. She's using the chat to try and have this argument, not argument with him. She's determined he's going to admit it, and he's determined he's not going to.
When we were doing good, right? Plain
Right.
and simple.
Somebody keep asking about ring?
One answer.
See?
Who's that?
He wants to be private about it, guys. Let it go. It's in the
What
past.
that?
Let it go. It's in the past. Stop asking. No, stop making me ask.
The engagement ring.
I'm not private about it.
But that's what happened.
Yes, I said you buy it, and after that...
And you were going to pay me for it because it was, you wanted me to pick out a ring that I liked because it was, when we were doing good, it was going to be an engagement ring.
Hello?
See?
Fucking answered his phone. Answered his phone. Rather than talk to her about it, she's having to smile because the disrespect of that. And then on the phone discusses her. The hell? I kept a kid after class today because we have issues where the kids don't want to turn on their webcams. They don't want to do the thing, yeah? And this kid turned on his webcam and he was misbehaving. And I told him, hey, put that down, get your book, you're meant to be on this page. And he flipped his webcam off. And I was like, oh, absolutely not. Turn that webcam on back immediately and wait for me after I've dismissed everybody. And I explained to this kid, I was like, why do you think I kept you? And he's like, I don't know. It's like, because if you were in physical school, flipping off your camera like that is the equivalent to me speaking to you and you turning and walking away. It's very disrespectful. It's not appropriate for class. If I ask you to do something, even if you don't like what I'm asking you, you don't get to just flip your camera off. Do you understand? This is the equivalent of what Nada did to her. She was like, no, hello. No, you stay there. He's not going to answer if he doesn't want to answer because he's a big man. And she has to live with that disrespect. Sorry, it irritates. This is why I find it very hard for them to be on screen because no, why are you even Foodie? I know how much everyone dislikes Foodie, but why? Why are you taking this? Why are you taking the disrespect from this man?
What that?
Keep smiling, Foodie. Keep smiling.
He's avoiding it.
Yeah.
What
Let's
did you
talk
say?
about you.
No, I'm not lying.
See how upset she's getting? No, I'm not lying. That's not a smile. That's near tears.
She said, you say I already engaged with this ring. Did you say that?
No, I said it was meant to be an engagement ring.
Look,
No.
she's losing her confidence. She's like, no, because he's laughing at her now. And she's embarrassed. And he is outright laughing at her with some other woman on the phone. It's like, did you say that? No, I said, and you can feel her backing down.
She's not living here.
I'm not lying.
Don't want to let go?
Call me, correct me.
Guys, I take phone call or no?
No, yes. I don't know, up to you.
I don't know, it's up to you. Correct answer. It's a great relationship, isn't it?
You obviously put your spin on things, Chantal. I don't know, I told you what happened.
You got to remember as well, his chat is full of people that hate her, who support him just because they hate her. So she's already struggling with the idea, even though she lies. We could find 1,000 examples of big and little lies that she has had on her channel over the course of the years. We could. This one she cares about because to her, or in actual reality, it wasn't a lie. And that's why she cares.
She'll say it wasn't an engagement ring, but won't tell the actual truth. Natter, sexy man, my way. Thank you for your call this morning.
Oh.
Also, Chantal lying.
I have a feeling this was a full-out troll, but why are you smiling? Why are you taking any of this shit?
Thanks. You think I'm your
This
way?
is his response.
That's nice.
Look how funny we are with
Sure,
each
my way.
other. And now they're muted. And this happens a lot. When it gets to a point where you're like, this could go wrong, they mute and they talk for a bit.
No, it's not a peach fuzz. I'm not embarrassed. I mean,
You should be.
why?
Why?
I just said what happened. I don't know why it would be embarrassing.
Because it's embarrassing. Because the truth is humiliating.
He never said he would pay for your ring. Lies and lies. Yes, you did say that.
What?
You
His face, she's still pushing it. Still pushing it. Because she's determined.
did say that. I mean, this is stuff I already said a long time ago. So
May as well
this
admit
is
it.
all past stuff. You never said that?
I don't like to talk about ring now. Ring is done.
Potato to French fry. Chantal, get you a side piece so he can hurt.
Potato what?
Potato to French fry. Chantal, get a side piece so he can hurt too.
That she'll read out and she'll laugh. You think he would care? You think he has any kind of deep emotional, even shallow emotional attachment to her? He likes her wallet. He likes the convenience of having her there as a personal Uber. He likes someone to push around. That is as much as she means to him.
Side pizza?
Side piece. Like another person to fuck. Addis Ababa.
Thanks for the chat.
Chantal said,
You're free.
"Mother money. Addis Ababa.
Addis Ababa what?
Addis Ababa. Chantal said she sends your mother money.
No,
See,
she
these are
don't.
all things.
Look how fast she is swiping right now. Oh no, don't look at these. These are all things. Oh, it's so long ago. No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Actually, I disagree with that. Didn't she say that I think it's easy to lose track. I think she had said at one point he had been angry because she hadn't sent money to his family, not because she had. So she's like swiping like her life depends on it right now. She's like, oh no, this is nothing. This is nothing.
No.
And now they're muted again.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Yes.
Good.
I think he's just uncomfortable with very personal questions.
Does she look happy? Is this the face of happy? Tell me.
Guys, about our relationship or about anything, so.
Not about everything.
Well, about regarding that kind of personal stuff,
I
right?
put my brother picture, I make both my song, I put everything. I will put video of my area grew up.
So he not giving her any quarter at all. What he's saying is he has absolutely no problem putting everything personal online. She just doesn't count and he doesn't want to acknowledge her. So it's not an issue of wanting to be private. It's just a you issue. That's nice. That's very supportive. That's completely unnecessary for the live stream. Again, as a self-respecting person, I can't believe she puts up with some of this. I really can't. But I think this ring thing is going to come up again. I forget the live stream, but it's going to come up in their future because I think it's just something she's holding up so much resentment about. Where is the ring now, by the way? Does he still have it? She brought it home, didn't she?
Stuff from home.
Chantal is a queen. Never be a real man. Stop playing games. Claim you're a woman like a real man would.
I'm not playing game. I play soccer.
No, he never plays games other than soccer, you guys. How dare you?
I'm not gonna cry, KB. I'm okay. Why do people think I'm not okay?
Because this is awful and you shouldn't be okay with it. That's why people think you're not okay. She has given me vibes of, sorry, I keep giving you stories from a few years ago. I was working in a school and I received some bad news. I received some news saying that my grandpa had had a stroke. And it was an email because I'd only just gotten to the country. I hadn't got my phone properly sorted out yet. And it was just hard to get through. I got the information in email. Yeah. And then I had to deal with like talking to my family and stuff. And as I received it and I've just kind of not quite processed, but it's there, a kid runs up to me and goes, "La sure," because I was in China. And she was really excited to show something to me. And you go on to autopilot because you're like, get through this, but you're upset and you obviously don't want to cry in front of a kid. And you just kind of take all that energy and you turn it into, oh my goodness, what's this? Oh, it's lovely. You did such a, let's take you in here. And you're a little bit like shaky, but you're holding it together because you're just smiling harder. And like the upset will become just this extra, wow, you did so well. And then one of your co-workers rescues you and you deal with your life. But that's the vibe I get here. That's the, I'm actually very upset, but I'm going to smile harder because maybe I can convert it. And then when I'm alone, I can deal with this.
It's not easy to answer, Misha. It's complicated.
What Misha said.
You shouldn't tell your girlfriend yes or no answer.
Oh, she wants the answer so desperately to be something supportive, so she keeps bringing it up. But
All that's not clear.
I mute a couple times to talk to you, but that's it. It's unmuted now. Okay, let's just put it this way.
What?
stop talking about it. And she's like, please, just throw me a bone. Throw me anything.
It's clear to us what we are, not to the public right now. That's what we want it to be, right?
Hmm?
You want to be private.
So why do you keep addressing it? Because she desperately doesn't want it to be private. Because of all the things he has made public and she has made public, she seems to be the sum total of the stuff he wants to keep private in his life.
Say that and that's it.
I said that already.
Okay.
They go mute for a while.
Sorry guys, I was bringing my cigarette.
Owner, she mutes when you're away, natter.
Yes, I know.
He knows
I
that.
just told her. Because she's gonna keep talking.
Remember earlier when she asked permission, she was like, oh, when are we coming back? Please tell me, sir, when are we coming back? She mutes when you're gone. Yes, I know, I tell her, because she gets talky. She's under orders. Now, this is his live stream. He does get to do that. And given that they got quite snappy at each other, I imagine they've had a conversation or more about this. Conversation at length and volume, I would imagine. But again, she's laughing because isn't this awkward?
It doesn't matter to me if you think I'm 400, if you think I'm huge, like Melanie just pointed out, or if I'm 300 pounds or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
I think it does. I think she's right in the sense of the trolls in her chat, in her and his chat, don't matter and shouldn't matter to her own self-image and self-worth. But I think she is generally a very insecure person. And if she didn't care about her weight and didn't care about what people thought of her weight, she wouldn't keep weighing in online. Because she's doing that because she wants people to see and she wants to prove to him, no, I'm losing weight. Because there was that whole, remember the storyline a little while ago when she was getting really, really insecure and we speculated on that he was either showing her like pictures of skinny women or he was kind of feeding that insecurity because it helped him to get more in control. She clearly does care. I'm not saying she should. I'm not saying people have the right to say those things about her. But to say she doesn't care, I think is overstretching.
Some people think I'm very skinny. But actually I'm strong. I'm strong.
You're strong? You're strong. Are you stable? Are you secure? Emotionally? Financially? Do you represent a sense of security to any other living person? I'm strong. Are you strong because you stabbed a woman that time and you went to prison? Is that the strength you're relying on? Are you able to deal with minor inconveniences without flaring up emotionally and physically? Which is also something she is absolute trash at as well. Neither of them deal with their emotions well. So again, this isn't me absolving Foodie because he's there. But strength is a number of things. And I think he needs to widen his definition, because I could say a lot of things about the evidence we've been presented with online in terms of him and his personality, but strong is not the word that comes to mind.
Passion Tim, the face filter is off. We see the truth, woman. Go to the gym. Stop going to fast food places when you leave natter.
Just trying to get her in trouble. That's actually true. People play at both sides of the fence. On one hand, they insult her, they tell her, look, oh, the filter, the whole story about the filters, I give a shit. She uses a filter, she doesn't use a filter. I have a similar phone to her. I have the FE version of the Samsung S20, and I think she has the regular S20. I don't know what one this is. This is the one she gave Nada, I think. There are filters on it. You can switch them off. I've switched mine off, but I have good lighting. So even if I don't use a filter on the camera, I have good lighting here. It helps. It does. I think they've got lighting as well, although probably not in this one. I don't give a shit if she uses them. I really don't. I think there's a danger when you only view yourself through the lens of the filter, you start believing your own bullshit. I do think there's a danger of that, but that's all to do with kind of her self-image and her accepting the way she is. And we've had conversations that, they've gone on before about her own sense of self or lack of saying. So she uses a filter, who cares?
I'm just joking. I'm blaming you, Passion Tim.
I keep searching for a good gym, by the way.
Ooh. And wasn't that a conversation? She was like, the gym's really expensive. Again, I want to know if that payday loan thing is true, and how and why, and all the things. But he wants to join a gym. She doesn't want to go to the gym. We've seen her melt down and have days in deep depression rather than go for a 10-minute walk. Back when he genuinely seemed to be somehow supporting her. Like, be like, all right, let's just go on a walk together. She completely lost grasp on life. Yeah? So she doesn't want to go to the gym. The idea of it is kind of there, but she doesn't actually want to do it. And the gyms are really expensive. So she's like, we're shopping around. And I have a feeling with him saying that comment that that's also a bit of a point of contention.
You can't eat camel. It's not legal, right?
What? Tell that to my supermarket. I don't know about in Canada. Maybe it's not legal in Canada. I know there are different rules, but you can get camel. They sell camel at my supermarket.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
Actually, deer meat or camel meat is very healthy.
Abby and Punisher and everybody talking about my cats. We are bringing them to the vet this month and they are fine.
That was a whole nother thing, and that was really the only thread that you continued into the next live about the boil. She has been oscillating wildly between her reaction to these cats. She's angry at everybody. We're seeing a little bit more of the cats and their treatment doesn't seem great. That's been a long-term discussion now. In her next live, she just had a clip where she was like, no, I wouldn't have a cat suffer, I'd have them euthanized. That's up to the individual person and what suffering the cat's going through and the level of pain they're in. But it was a really odd conversation to be having when that's not the issue that BBJ is in. She's a healthy cat. She's apparently got the body of a cat half her age, according to Chantal and apparently this vet visit. Obviously that goes through the filter of Chantal, and that was a year ago, and things that you might be able to do earlier in life become more difficult later in life. Now it's only a year comparatively, but if the cat throwing up repeatedly was normal when she was younger, it might be still a cause for concern now, because what was normal behavior might now be hiding something. Just because it was sort of part of her behavior before doesn't mean you shouldn't check it now, particularly with her being such an elderly cat. And I will say right now, those cats do not look in great condition at all. They don't look the kind of condition you would get the cat's taken away from you for, but they're not in good condition. And I know she says, well, Pete's is here. I would not trust Pete to look after a cat. I don't trust Pete to look after himself, to be quite frankly. I think, to be quite frankly, this is the language I teach them and pay for. My goodness. To be quite frank, I don't trust Pete to look after himself most of the time. I think he doesn't prioritize his own well-being. There is no reason he would prioritize the well-being of another living thing. We saw the conditions Timbit was living in. Yeah? We saw the mess in his room. And we hear when Foodie has to go and clean up sick and clean up crap and clean up all the rest of it on the floor, that means that Pete himself has been living with it because he won't clean it up. Now, I'm not saying he should have to clean up after the cat, but if a cat threw up and I knew my roommate might not be back for a whole nother day to deal with it, I myself, while I wouldn't want to deal with it, I also wouldn't want to live with it, and I'd clean it up. Because I imagine it being left there for X amount of time is also contributing to how often the cats are crapping and throwing up around the house, because cats like to be clean. So there's a whole number of things going on there.
Actually, Punisher BBJ has always been a very finicky cat with throwing up.
Well, you've also always been kind of filthy, so do those two things correlate?
It might be, I don't know what, like hairballs, but also she throws up a lot. I've brought her to the vet many times. We've changed her food, everything, and the same.
But you haven't maintained a clean environment, which is probably triggering a lot of things.
Thing with scratching, sometimes she scratches since I got her. It's just how it's always been. Teach her to cook and clean. Your place is looking like hers. She really lives like a toddler, not an adult. That's not wifey material.
That's a very limited idea of what wife material is. I don't think her aim in life should be to be wifey material for him. I think it is her aim in life, which is a whole nother conversation, but there was a lot in that statement.
Mine too.
I think it was just baiting. And the answer is I try to.
We hate Chantal.
Yep.
Your channel's better with
They
her.
do. They do. I don't hate her. I'm frustrated with her. I'm kind of sick of her. I'm considering just deleting the channel at this point and being like, wait me when this season is over, and maybe just being like done. But pure hatred for it, nah, it takes a lot of effort for someone I've never met in real life. I hate some of her choices. I don't necessarily hate her. I find her hard to deal with.
Thank you so much. I think I would hate her too.
I think I would hate her too. This the woman that you're kind of but not living with.
Does Natter's super chat money go into Chantal's bank account or Natter's?
Why? Why are you trying to be mean? My money is my money.
So,
Yeah. And her money is his money, so how dare you?
the answer is, yeah, no, it doesn't go into my account.
Actually, my money is my family money.
Because he's a good boy.
Chantal drives wasted. I hope you go to prison. No, I don't.
Anymore, even though I've confirmed that I have, and that's also crap because we've worked out those timelines and there's no way, at some points in the car, there was no way she wasn't high.
Me?
Me.
That's as much as I did, you guys. She does also do a tour of the basement. I chose not to include it, even though it looks a little bit like this is where the body was discovered kind of a place. But people have gone through it a lot recently online. There's a washer down there. There's some holes in the wall. There's a weird sun face something. And it looks a bit of a wreck. So that's saved you some time in your life. All right, guys, that's where we are. I would really like to see more streams on her channel, like even streams. I'd like to see more pre-recorded content, but that ship sailed. But I'd like to see more streams of her channel unsupervised by him. I use the word supervised very precisely and with intent. And I think we're going to see less and less of them. I really do. And even when she's not with him, a good portion of her conversation is about him. And when it's not, she's got nothing else to talk about. So those are the streams that just tend to be hours of nothing. And that's pretty much the sum total of her life in this current time. And that's it. Jamaica has been not officially postponed, but the conversation, they seem to be putting a pin in it because she went back to Nada. So that's apparently like just not happening now. I don't think she ever had the second sleepover / evening with her aunt. And it's just a whole mess of things, and this is where we are. So I'm gonna let you go. God help me, I'm gonna maybe go look at the other one or try and edit this, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.